Greetings and welcome to Rauta's Black Metal Reviews. This time we go to Switzerland with a band called Malphas. There are quite a few of those, which I will show it to you soon, but first let's take a look at this CD by the very band, released through Soulseller Records. Album name is Extinct, and this is very basic when it comes to the release. Glossy, classic CD release. Here is the lineup photo. Then you obviously have the lyrics, and finally on the back side of the booklet you have this credits list with some information. On the back side of the CD, Soulseller logo, track list, symbols, so all pretty sweet and good to go. This is how the CD looks like. Let's talk about the music in question. As I mentioned, there are quite a few bands with the same name, so it can be confusing because most of them seem to operate around black metal, hybrid or otherwise. Here we go, however, to Switzerland. You can pretty much see that I have already clicked one band before, so sometimes it takes time to go with the instinct, or then you can just go and type the album name in the search field. But here it is, black metal from Switzerland, Lausanne. Swiss black metal scene has been active already since the days of Celtic Frost, so the first wave of black metal. But then there was quite a bit of time when nothing much apart from bands like Samael happening. Until 2000 something, the bands started coming up from the Swiss scene, and past many years now, a lot of Swiss bands have been circulating around and creating new albums and all that stuff. So I guess we can count on Malphas saying that, yeah, it's one of the new school or new wave of Swiss black metal. But 2014, so more than 10 years in the game now and 4 albums in, 1 EP too. So the band has always been pretty active since the inception. And these albums, as you can see, have been coming out quite steadily, even though after the first and second album there was 5 years difference compared to 2 years between the first EP and all. And lastly, these past 3 albums have been coming out quite quickly after one another. So this one is Extinct, and this is the name of the game here, featuring 45 minutes, give or take 9 tracks and all. And of course we will go to other versions here to showcase you the CD and all that stuff. Released in April 11, 2025, relatively new album, still in the game. Now musically, this is melodic black metal with a little bit black and roll in the mix, and then more like traditional modern black metal. I guess where you want to put it is somewhere between the third wave and early days of second wave of black metal. Because basically this is very traditional when it comes to black metal, apart from the first wave obviously. But then again, it isn't really that modern. I'm talking about the so-called third wave with the dissonant bands and all that stuff. So this is clinging kind of back to the second wave traditions, but more like the twilight years of that era. Meaning you will definitely feel that this is very 2000s in terms of production and all, but musically this is something that has been going on for quite some time. I'm talking about the 90s and onwards. What is curious is that this band is mostly referred to as in the similar artist tabs to bands like Watain. And there are these overlapping things which definitely put these guys into the same box. However, there are differences between Malphas and Watain, and they're quite obvious. I would say overall Watain is more dark and more sinister, whereas Malphas is more like in the middle of the road. There is nothing happy about it, which I'm of course happy about, and it is indeed quite traditional black metal. But sometimes it almost feels like it's even too safe. And don't get me wrong, there are great things on this album, like the opening track Psychomachia. The thing here is, it already gives you a strong impression what this band is all about. However, unfortunately, the album is in a slight decline after that one. Maybe that is the best track because it has so much aggression and passion, and I feel like based on that I would be saying this is really a great album. Now, this isn't unfortunately maybe a great album, but more like pretty good of an album, meaning there are still quite a bit of filler parts. They're not obviously bad as such, but you can separate the really great ones from the ones that are pretty okay, but they don't really, make you hard. So as such, when giving this a few spins, I'm pretty happy with the result. I'm saying this is pretty easy to get into and all that stuff. But the highlight tracks, apart from the opening, are hardly there. So I don't know whether this is more like a band that totally kills live or an album band. Remains to be seen when I finally get to see this, however, someplace, hopefully someday. But since I haven't witnessed them yet, it's hard to say which one is their forte. So far it's so good and all promising, but the killer tracks kind of are still waiting to be happening. Maybe next time. But meanwhile you're pondering about, give this melodic yet somewhat aggressive band a go. It's definitely worth giving a listen to. Just don't expect the next big thing at this point and you're good to go. Links are included in the description box. Off you go.